I believe that there is an issue. We have a problem. So I get a lot of calls from people looking to move here to Oklahoma, and the questions I get majority of the time is, what's Oklahoma City like? What is Tulsa like? And those are all fine and dandy and great questions, but we're leaving out the small guy. We're not talking about the small towns and cities that actually are the backbone of Oklahoma, and I can't have it anymore. So in this video, I am covering 25 small towns and cities around Tulsa, Oklahoma that I think you should know a little about. In this video, I'm going to be covering the population, the school size, and how long it takes to travel from that small city to the big O city of Tulsa, Oklahoma. So go ahead, grab the popcorn, take notes. Let's get into the primary and secondary suburbs of Tulsa, Oklahoma. So before we dive in, I just want to tell you we are using Google Maps to kind of show you the areas of where these cities are located. And also, we are going to be covering the population, the school size, the school classification, and the distance between how long it takes to get from that city to Tulsa, Oklahoma. So all these cities are around Tulsa, and we're going to hit 25 of them, and we're going to try to do this all in one shot. So let's dive into it. So Tulsa, Oklahoma is at the northeastern part of the state, and the first one we're going to be talking about is just north of Tulsa, and that is Bartlesville. Bartlesville has a population of 36,412 people. The school classification is a 6A Division II, which is the second biggest classification. And on average, they graduate about 400 kids per class. And the distance to get from Bartlesville to Tulsa is about 48 minutes. And it's 46 miles. It's a real easy drive. Just go straight down south on Highway 75. The next city we're going to be talking about is Nowata. Nowata is just east of Bartlesville. Its population is 3,639 people. Their categorization or classification is Class 2A, and they graduate an average about 60 students per class. It's a very small town, really nice little town. It takes about 50 minutes to get from Nowata to Tulsa, and that is a total of 49 miles. Once again, it's another real easy drive, just going straight down on Highway 75. The next one is Pawhuska. Pawhuska, if you ever watched that Leo movie, Wild Flowers, this is actually where it was filmed. It was actually filmed in this area. Also, if you're a big Pioneer woman, I know she had a Food Network show. That's actually where her store is located, in Pawhuska. So Pawhuska has a population of 3,481 people. Its class is a Class A, its classification. So that's a really, really small school. And they graduate about 50 kids per class. Now, it takes about 62 minutes or about an hour to get from Pawhuska to Tulsa. And you're going to be going through some back streets. And it's a total of 56 miles, once again, to get from Pawhuska to Tulsa. And that is also about an hour. The next one we're going to be talking about is going back over east here, and we're going to be looking at Oologah. So that's how you pronounce that. This actually be very good for people that don't know how to pronounce Oklahoma cities and towns names. I'm going to show you and teach you how to pronounce them correctly. So this is Oologah, and they actually tie in the school districts between Oologah and Talala. Oologah and Talala has a population. So Oologah has a population of 1,174. Talala has a population of 284. It's a Class 4A school, so a little bit bigger. They graduate about 140 kids per class. And the distance to get from Oologah and Talala to Tulsa, it's about 37 minutes and 37 miles. You kind of have a choice of either going Highway 75 or Highway 169 to get into Tulsa, depending on what part of Tulsa you're trying to get to. So that is Oologah and Talala. Now, going just south of Oologah, we have Collinsville, and that's actually where I live. And Collinsville, it has a population of 6,882 people. Their class size, or their categorization of their class size, is a 5A, which is actually the third biggest. So you have Class 6A1, 6A2, and then you have 5A. So they graduate about 200 kids per class, and it takes about 24 minutes or 21 miles to get from Collinsville right here to Tulsa. And I love Collinsville because it's real close to Owasso, and I don't have to go to Tulsa if I don't want to. Going just west of Collinsville on Highway 20, we have Skytook, which I really like Skytook too. Just looked at a really nice house over there recently. Their population is 7,962 people. Their classification is a Class 4A, and they graduate about 179 or 75 people per class in school. And it takes about 24 minutes or 23 miles to get from Skytook to Tulsa. Once again, it's real easy. Just hit that 75, just go straight down south. Now, something else that's south just of Skytook is Sperry. Sperry is located just south of Skytook. They have a population of 1,275 people. Their classification is a Class 2A. They graduate about 80 kids per class, and it takes about 20 minutes or 11 miles to get to Tulsa. It's a very, very quick and easy to get to downtown Tulsa. You actually could just take the back roads. I would just take 75 because it's a lot easier. Now, going back over to east of Sperry, we have Owasso. Now, I really, really like Owasso for several reasons. And if you want to know more reasons why I like Owasso, you can click that link right there and it'll share everything you need to know. Actually, it'll be on this side. Yep, over here. Oh, my hand went away. But over there in that general corner, it'll give you all the details of why I love Owasso so much. But some things about Owasso, some details that you need to know about Owasso is they have a population of 36,173 people. They are considered a classification of a Class 6A Division 1, so the biggest class they can be. They graduate about 100 or 750 students per class. It takes about 18 minutes to get to Tulsa and about 13 miles from Owasso to Tulsa. Like them a lot. And then we're going to be continue on going over east to Claremore. I really like Claremore too. Claremore is a pretty cool city. Claremore is considered a 5A. It is 300 kids per class and a population of 18,753 people. And it takes about 31 minutes to travel from Claremore to Tulsa, and that is a total of 29 miles. And since we're on this trend of traveling east here, we're just going to continue on traveling east, and we're going to go across Highway 20 here into Pryor. Pryor has a population of 9,394 people. Their classification of school is a 5A. They graduate about 200 kids per class. The distance it takes to get from Pryor to Tulsa, it is about 44 minutes, and that is a total of 43 miles. Now we're going to go down south on 69 right here, and we're going to go over to Shoto. So that's spelled Shoto, and they have this really great restaurant called the Amish Cheese Factory. I think that's how the Amish Cheese Farm or the Amish Cheese House. The Amish Cheese House. I said factory. The Amish Cheese House. Really, really cool. Really good food. So Shoto, they are a population of 2,066 people, and their classification of school, public school, is a Class A, and they graduate about 60 kids per class. The distance from Tulsa to Shoto is 37 minutes or 38 miles. Now we're going to head back east. We're going to head back into Tulsa here, and we're going to stop right off of 412 into Inola, Oklahoma. Inola has a population of 1,828 people. Their classification on public school is a Class 3A. They graduate about 100 kids per class, and their distance from Tulsa to Inola is 29 minutes or 28 miles. Now, something else I want to really briefly tell you about this area right here. This is a big population of Amish and Mennonites. So you'll see a lot of farms, a lot of people in buggies and doing all that stuff. So just so you know, in this general area of Oklahoma, just east of Tulsa, is very big Amish and Mennonite communities, just so you know. So we talked about Inola. Now we're going to move back a little bit, and we're actually going to be continuing our trend back into Tulsa, going on 412, and we're going to be hitting Catoosa. So this is also where the big well of Catoosa is at. So I'm going to click on that just so you can see it. Boom, big well. Also, we have the Hard Rock Casino over here, which is really cool too. So the population of Catoosa is 7,705 people. Their classification of school size is a class 4A, and they graduate about 150 students per class. The total distance from Tulsa to Catoosa is 19 minutes or 15 miles. Now going up just north here, why is that up? So just going up north here, we have Verdigris, so just north of Catoosa. Verdigris has a population of 4,460 people. Their classification of their public school is a 3A, and they graduate about 100 kids per class. The distance from Verdigris to Tulsa is 23 minutes or 20 miles. Now we're going to break it back out here, and we're going to be heading south from Verdigris right into the biggest suburb city in the greater Tulsa area, and that is Broken Arrow. So I consider this a primary suburb city. All the rest of the suburb cities that we've talked about, other than Claremore and Owasso, I would really consider secondary suburb cities. But Broken Arrow is the biggest primary suburb, and they have a population of 108,496 people. So that is a very big suburb city. Their school size, as you can guess, their classification is a 6A Division 1. They graduate about 1,200 students per class, and the distance to get from Broken Arrow to Tulsa, even though they're right on top of each other, is 17 minutes, and that is 14 miles. And that is taking you directly into downtown Tulsa. That is what I'm judging it off of, even though it'll take you a lot less to get into Tulsa because it's right on top of each other. Like in this area right here, I went to downtown Tulsa, which is basically the other side of Tulsa from Broken Arrow. Now we're going to be heading down 51 over into a small town that I really like a lot. They actually have a really good Cajun food place called T. Johnny's. You need to check it out. But Coweta, not Coweta, it's Coweta, and their population is 9,739 people. They have their school classification is a 5A. They graduate about 250 students per class, and the distance from Coweta to downtown Tulsa is 33 minutes or 25 miles. Now we're going to make a big jump here all the way from Coweta all the way to the other side of Tulsa, and we're going to be talking about a town just outside of downtown Tulsa, or a city just outside of downtown Tulsa called Sand Springs, just right off the Arkansas River. So Sand Springs has a population of 19,794 people. Their school classification is considered a 6A Division 2, and they graduate about 450 students per class. Their distance from Sand Springs to Tulsa, once again, we're talking about downtown Tulsa here, is 10 minutes or 7 miles. So it is very close to Tulsa, and more specifically downtown Tulsa. Now we're going to head out just a little bit more west of Sand Springs, and we're going to be talking about I call it a lake city because it's right off Call Lake, or I'm sorry, not Keystone Lake. Call Lake's way out, Ponca City, but Keystone Lake, and it is called Manford. So Manford's kind of a little bit of a lake town, a little bit. Their population is 3,225 people. Their school classification is a 2A. They graduate about 120 students per class. The distance it takes to get from Tulsa to downtown Tulsa is 25 minutes or 22 miles. Once again, really cool place. Has some cool houses out there. Definitely a lake community, in my opinion, because it's so close to the lake. And also, if you have questions about moving here to Tulsa, Oklahoma, I am a realtor here in the greater Tulsa area. I service every single one of these areas. So if you want more information, or if you want to go look at something or sell something in those areas, please let me know. I would love to help you. Once again, Steven, the 918 agent, ad off. So we talked about Manford. Now we're going to be talking about Sapulpa. So we're heading back into Tulsa, heading over east. We're going to be talking about Sapulpa, not Sapaloopa, Sapulpa. And that is just located just south of Sand Springs. Their total population is 21,041 people. Their classification of their public school is a 5A. They graduate about 350 students per class. The total time it takes to get from Sapulpa to downtown Tulsa is, 19 minutes, and the total mileage is 14 miles. Now, something right next to Sapulpa, and probably one of the higher desirable, or used to be, and actually still is, suburb cities of Tulsa is Jenks, and that is located right off of the Arkansas River. And Jenks population is 22,488. Their classification of their public school is considered a 6A Division 1. They have a total graduation class of 800 people on average. Their time to get from downtown Tulsa to Jenks is about 17 minutes, and then their total mileage to do the same is 12 miles. Now, going just south of actually between Sapulpa and Jenks, just south, is a town right off of 75 called Glenpool. Glenpool has a population of 13,666. Their school classification is a 5A, and they graduate about 200 kids per class. Total time to get to downtown Tulsa from Glenpool is 19 minutes. Total mileage is 14 miles. I will say this. I believe Glenpool of the South Tulsa area and Skytook of the North Tulsa area of suburbs, I think those are two areas that I think are kind of sleeper. Not a lot of people look at it, but I see a lot of great potential in those two areas, and I think there might be some tremendous growth over the next probably 10 years. That's just my opinion. I might be totally wrong, but I like it. So something right next to Glenpool is a small town called Kiefer, Oklahoma. Every time I think of Kiefer, I think of Teen Mom, just in case you watch that. Population is 2,251 people. The class size of Kiefer is class 2A. I didn't find a graduation class, but I'm probably going to guess it's between like 80 and 100 kids per class they probably graduate, but that's just a guess. They have a population of 2,251. The distance to get from Kiefer to downtown Tulsa is 25 minutes or 18 miles. Another city that starts with a K, or suburb, I call this a secondary suburb city, just like Kiefer, but it starts with a K, is Kellyville. I have a couple of friends that live in Kellyville, and they seem to like it. A little bit more of a rural country feel, just like with all these other smaller towns. Population is 1,142 people. The classification of school is a 2A. Total graduating class on average is about 80 kids per class. Distance from Tulsa to Kellyville is 25 minutes or 21 miles if you're looking at miles. Mounds. So we're going to go look at Mounds here, which Mounds is located just south of Kellyville and south of Glenpool. And just some inside information for you, if you ever listen to Hanson, Hanson lives around this area, at least I have heard live around this area, like that. Bop, dop, dop, boom, bop, boop, dop. All right, that's enough. I don't want to get copyrighted. But yeah, I heard they lived in this area. Don't know exactly where, but around this area. So Mounds has a population of 1,099 people. They are considered a 2A classification on public school. They have a total graduation on average about 60 students per class. The distance to get from Mounds to downtown Tulsa is 28 minutes or 22 miles, and that is Mounds. Now, one of the biggest growing suburb cities, and this is the last one I'm going to be talking about of this primary and secondary Tulsa area, is Bixby. This town has grown tremendously over the last probably 15 years. Their population is 26,541 people. They are considered a class 6A, and they recently just moved up to Division 1. They used to be Division 2, but they just recently moved up to a Division 1 about 2 years ago. They graduate about 450 kids per class, probably a little bit more now. And the distance from Tulsa to Bixby is 29 minutes or 22 miles. Now, once again, when I talk about the distance, I am talking about downtown Tulsa. Obviously, Bixby's right next to Tulsa. If you want to go shopping on Memorial, it'll take you a couple minutes, but just so you know on that information. If you want to learn more about Tulsa, click this video right here. If you want more specific questions asked, please reach out to me. My contact information is down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. Click that video right now.